It's all about motorsport on today's edition of State of Play, where I am joined by one of the rising stars of the car racing circuit in Australia. It's Hamish Ribarits. Hamish, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me today.
You've had a fantastic 2019 so far, mate, and it seems to be only going from strength to strength. You're currently leading the Super3 Series, which I guess is the third division of Australian touring car racing. How have you found the jump up into the competition this year?
It's been really competitive this year. I found there's a lot of young guns like myself in the category this year, and it's provided with really good racing, and obviously we're all trying to go to the same place. Supercars is the ultimate goal for all of us, so it's made the competition really fierce this year, and it's been an exciting journey so far.
So over the first couple of rounds you've had a couple of really good race results, and then another one obviously coming up at Queensland Raceway here. How do you feel your form's been at the moment?
I've been really happy with my form so far this year. Going into the third round of the series leading, I think that's a good start to the year for me, and hopefully now that I'm in front, I can just extend my lead and create a sort of a buffer for myself.
Obviously Mildura is a massive motorsport place, and we've had so many fantastic drivers and also riders from the motorcycle point of view. Can you give us a little bit of background as to how you got into racing yourself? Was it through the kart system like a lot of others?
Yeah, of course. So I started racing go-karts when I was 12 years old, and I did that for about 4 years, won Victorian and South Australian state titles and competed in national series and whatnot, and then I progressed on to Formula Ford with Sonic Motor Racing Services, which is the top team in Formula Ford racing, so that was obviously the place to go for me, and I did that for 2 years with Sonic. I competed in the Victorian State Series and National Formula Ford Series, where I finished third and second respectively, and now this year I've stepped up into Super3 with Matt White Motorsport.
So I guess for yourself, where did the passion for motorsport come from?
Well, for me, I've always just grown up and just seen V8 supercars on the TV, and found it really cool as a young kid. And we had the way I got into go-karts was some friends of ours got into go-karts, sort of got them one Christmas, and they're like, oh, come around, have a look at this. And went around, I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, do you reckon we could get one of those, Dad? And as soon as you know it, I got my own go-kart, and we're whizzing around out the track together, so that was a pretty cool way to get into karting.
And what is it about motorsport and racing itself that you enjoy so much?
The top speeds that we achieve is one thing, but for me, the thing I like about it most is just the fierce racing and how close it is on track, battling for positions and whatnot, and also the relationships and families that you make along the way, just gelling with all the teams, and it's a really cool community, just the people that you meet and those relationships that you build.
As you're coming up through the ranks, obviously you get to know a lot of people around the place, and you were lucky enough earlier this year to have a former V8 Supercar champion as your teammate for a race, Garth Tander. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
So it was a pretty late call up actually. It was the week of the race. I sort of got a call from TCR, asking if I'd be interested in competing that weekend at Phillip Island. And TCR, I thought that was pretty cool. So of course I wanted to get on board and give that a go. So quickly gave my sponsors a call and seeing if I could come up for the funds to be able to do it. And fortunately, it all came together for me.
And what was it like driving in the Audi? I guess is a little bit different to the Super3 car that you normally have.
Yeah, of course. It was a completely foreign experience for me. I've never driven a front-wheel drive car before, so all day Friday I spent learning that and just trying to find my grips. I already knew the track, which was a benefit, but it was completely different. It was all paddle shift and left foot braking, a lot of stuff which I'd never done before. So it was a really good learning experience for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And
in the round that you competed in, you had 3 races and you got a podium finish out of that as well. So that must have been pretty satisfying to get that in your first ever round competing with an Audi.
Yeah, of course, and that was the first race podium that Audi have had in the TCR series in Australia, so that was pretty cool to, my first outing in the series, be able to go grab that for the team and for the manufacturer as well.
As having someone like Garth Tander in your stable there, what sort of things did you learn from him?
Racecraft was the biggest thing I learned from Garth. If there's a gap there, he just goes for it and makes it work. So yeah, it was really competitive racing against Garth, and I've known Garth for quite a few years now. Sort of been working with him in Formula Ford through Sonic and his relationship there, so it was pretty cool to go out on track and battle with someone like that.
You obviously mentioned before that competing in the V8 Supercar Series would be your ultimate dream. Have you watched someone like Cameron Waters over the last few years and used that as a bit of inspiration for yourself?
Yeah, of course. Watching Cam Waters and obviously the Kelly brothers, and I have quite a close relationship with the Kelly brothers, which is good. So at all my rounds, I get to sort of hang around in the pits and watch on. So it's been a really cool journey for me so far, and yeah, that's obviously drawn a lot of inspiration from those guys, which will hopefully push me up to reach their level.
And I suppose once the Super 3 Series is done, what would be the next step for you to go forward in your racing?
At the moment, we're working to try and secure a drive in Super 2 next year. So just working with all my sponsors and the teams and whatnot, and just putting all the pieces of the puzzle together to hopefully get me on the grid next year.
And how do you find having to travel around to different places around Australia while still living here in Sunraysia?
It's quite difficult. Well, I'm based in Melbourne now because I'm studying architecture in university down there, so that makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, I found it's been a bit of a struggle trying to juggle the two. I found it a lot harder than last year when I was doing year 12. So it's been a big step up in both my schooling and motorsport career. So yeah, it's been a big challenge, but I've really enjoyed it so far.
Well, fantastic. Well, congratulations on your year so far, Hamish. All the best for the rest of the year and into the future.
Yep, thank you.
And thank you for joining us again on MilduraWeekly.com.au. And make sure you stay tuned for more videos.